Hi everyone, and welcome to another edition of Coffee with Father James. This week, without the coffee for obvious reasons. I'm standing in front of the tabernacle here at the St. Peter's location within our parish of Our Lady of Guadalupe. And one thing I love about this tabernacle, or this space, this almost chapel, Blessed Sacrament Chapel, is the reflection of the themes of St. Peter. You see that the curtain behind the tabernacle is like a fishing net, and even the curtain around the tabernacle is a fishing net, and we have the fish above it. This weekend we're going to hear from the Gospel of Mark the call of the first disciples, where Jesus calls to Peter and others. He says, "Come and follow me, and I will make you fishers of people." And it reminds us that we're called to be a church that doesn't just care for sheep, but actually catch fish. But I'm going to be saying a lot more about that this coming weekend. So I have a few things to update you on. First of all, I want to thank everyone who's picked up their envelopes. I'm told that more than 50% of the envelopes have been picked up, which is actually amazing, all things considered, that we've come through since a year ago with the amalgamation, and of course with COVID, not everyone being able to return to church yet, but we still have some. They are available from Monday to Friday from the office, or at weekday Mass, or during the weekend here at the St. Peter's location. So please, obviously we need you to pick those envelopes up and use them as well. We still have a financial burden to operate our parish. You can also visit the parish website, ourladyofguadalupe.ca/donate, if you want to explore other ways to give and to support the mission of the parish. Speaking about supporting the mission of the parish, another blessing in these past weeks has been the number of people who have stepped forward to serve, to offer their time and talent during this difficult time. And a couple of weeks ago, we put out a call for more help for office volunteers in the reception area at the St. Peter's location, and we had one spot to fill. We actually had 5 people step forward to offer to support us. And as a result of all of this, of these responses, we actually have a total of 12 regular parishioners serving as in the reception area. So 12 regulars and 8 people on standby to help out when we need extra help. That's remarkable. It's absolutely fantastic. Another area where people have really stepped up is with the tech booth during Masses, the operations of slides. We also have sound monitoring and mixing, which is a bit more complicated, and also the operation of the cameras. But starting point is the slides. It's pretty easy. You just keep your eye on the screen and press the button. We actually have volunteers for every single Mass to help. We're still in need of more help. We would love you to help us out if that's something you can think you could help us out with. Speaking of Sunday Mass, we're slowly picking up numbers again. This past weekend, we had to cut it off. At the Saturday Mass, we had 100. We're only allowed 100 people here. We have to be strict about that. A couple of weeks ago, or about a month ago, we actually had the health inspector drop by on a Sunday morning to check out what was happening. So we need to be respectful, obviously, of those limitations. So we had 100 people at the 4 o'clock Mass. We had around 68 at the 9. We had close to 100 at the 11, about 96, 97 people. And we had over 60 people at the 7 p.m. So we're got 4 Masses, and we need 4 Masses for now. We saw pretty much around 325 people this past weekend. So we do have some spaces. We've got some room in the 9 a.m. Mass and some room at the 7 p.m. Mass. We're going to track things if things start getting if we have another week where we're at the 100 limit, we will have to, for those Masses, bring back pre-registration. I know that's tricky, but we just don't want people standing out in the cold or being turned away. And so please be patient with us, and who knows, maybe in a couple of weeks we'll see some of those limitations extended, so we'll have a bit more flexibility. Speaking of things liturgical, after working and seeking to get leaders for the particular liturgical ministries in our parish, we're having our first liturgy meeting in a while with a new liturgy committee this Thursday night. So We're hoping to begin to talk about things like, training and having some consistency about how we do different things, because we've brought together parishioners from 4 different locations with different customs, different ways of doing things. So we're beginning to address some of those things. Again, it's going to take us a little bit of time to do it, but our goal is for you to hopefully begin to notice that we're a bit more prepared, a bit more organized with regard to liturgy. And of course, we've got Ash Wednesday coming up soon, and Lent and all of that. And oh my goodness, I don't want to even think about it. Seems we just finished Christmas. No idea what that's going to look like this year. Again, we're waiting for directions from the Archdiocese about ashes and palms and all of these things about before we can figure out exactly what we're going to do. We will keep you posted. Speaking of Lent, and it's another reason why I'm standing here in this location. This past weekend, Father Rob focused on the gospel reading, the fact that Jesus asked his disciples and asks us through the scriptures, what are you looking for? Our homework this past weekend was to kind of chew on that question, pray about it, and are we looking for a double-double from Tim's? At a deeper level, what are we looking for? What are we really looking for? His homily was fantastic. Check it out on this YouTube channel if you haven't had a chance to see Rob's homily. One of the things he mentioned in his homily was that in Lent, we've discerned that we need to do something around prayer. Because if we're going to really answer the question, what are you looking for? We need to do what Jesus said, come and see. And the disciples went and they spent time with Jesus. It really is the only way to be able to answer that question, is to spend time with him. And that really is about prayer. And one of the things that, I think that we can all benefit from is kind of learning more about prayer, about how to pray. I think for many of us, we are almost like the disciples who said to Jesus, Lord, teach us to pray. Many of us, we pray in a similar way that we did when we were children, perhaps. So here's what we're thinking. We don't have anything concrete yet, but for Lent, here's what we're thinking about doing. We're thinking about creating a workshop on prayer, which is basically teaching on different ways to pray and having an experiential component. And we're hoping to do that through the weeks of Lent, and to tie it in to the weekend homily, so that we have the homily and the event during the week will be of a similar theme. And imagine this. Imagine if we had almost all of our parish going through this exercise. And if we can do a weeknight event, we can do it a combination of online and in person, where we both teach and learn about different ways to pray and also experience it. So it's not just information, it's also experiential, to look at a diverse number of, all different kinds of ways to pray, because I remember Pope Benedict once being asked, how many ways are there to pray? And he said, as many ways as there are people. And so there are many ways to pray, and our tradition is very, very rich. But we would focus on a few particular ways and help people to discover that way of prayer. So that's our hope for Lent. Just want to put that out there for you to keep that in mind. And it hopefully would also be something that we could invite people to participate in who might not even be regular churchgoers, for them to also discover how to go more deeply into a life of prayer. So with that in mind, I want to thank you for spending time with me. I hope you enjoyed a cup of coffee, even though I don't have one. And God bless you all, and we'll see you next time.